blessings. We remember those we've lost. People will sometimes find it difficult to celebrate, and yet we've got so much to be thankful for. We've got so many blessings that you've provided, and help us to focus on those things this week and in the days ahead. Pray that you'd be with our meeting now tonight. Grant us wisdom in the decisions to be made and in our time of deliberation. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Scott. It's 5:30, November 20th, 2023, and we'll call this meeting of the Fergus Falls City Council to order. Roll call, please.
Joe.
Here.
Kwame.
Here.
Hoover is absent. Kramer.
Here.
Thompson.
Here.
Rachel.
Here.
Hicks.
Here.
Fish.
Here. We have a quorum. First item of business is the approval of the agenda. We'll call on our city administrator for any changes or corrections to the presented agenda. Good evening, Andrew.
Good evening, Your Honor. Council members. Councilmember Hicks has requested removal of items 5, 6, and 7 from the consent agenda for additional conversation.
5, 6, 7. All right, with that, so no additions or corrections to the agenda as presented. Someone like to make a motion?
I'll make that, Your Honor.
Thanks, Anthony. Thanks, Brent. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. There are no public hearings this evening. There are no bids to award. We have 2 items under petitions and communications in addition to the open forum. So first, we'll start with the Rotary Splash Pad donation presentation, and we'll call on Rotary Representative Zach Stock.
Yes, that is me. And we're just here to donate. Our centennial project was to raise money for the splash pad. We raised $85,000. And we're here to present that tonight.
Best part of my job.
All right. Thank you.
You ready to keep this?
I don't think so.
Hey, good job. Thank you, Rotary. Yeah, there's been a lot of great partners on that project, and Rotary is certainly one of them. So thanks, and make sure you tell the entire club for being a great partner. Thank you. Next, we have a resolution acknowledging the retirement and 43 years of service to the Fergus Falls Fire Department from Tony Neville. That's why all the good-looking gentlemen are in the audience tonight, so thanks for being here. Whereas Tony Neville submitted his intent to retire from the Fergus Falls Fire Department effective October 13th, 2023, and whereas Tony began his service as a firefighter to the city of Fergus Falls and surrounding area on October 13th, 1980, and whereas Tony has held numerous roles in the Fergus Falls Fire Department, including firefighter, driver, operator, captain, deputy chief, assistant chief, Firefighter Association Secretary, and Relief Association President. And whereas Tony's dedication to serve others at a moment's notice, his experiences and calm demeanor provided an atmosphere of trust amongst fire department members and those he responded to. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Fergus Falls, Minnesota, to accept Tony Neville's resignation from the Fergus Falls Fire Department and recognize him and thank him for his 43 years of steadfast and dedicated service to City of Fergus Falls and surrounding areas. The above and foregoing resolution was offered at a regular council meeting by Councilmember Jim Fish, who moved its adoption. It was seconded by Councilmember Scott Kwame, and was adopted by the following vote. Roll call, please.
Joe.
Yes.
Kwame.
Yes.
Kramer.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Rachel.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Fish.
Yes. The resolution is approved. Thank you, Tony Neville.
You want a picture with the guys?
Speech.
Thank you.
Yeah, get a group picture.
Let's stand over here with Tony in front. Thanks for wearing something other than black.
Hey, Chief, did you want to say something after they're done with the picture?
I think Tony said it all. Thank you. I can say a couple things with
Tony.
I will say it was definitely in my time here, back when I started as a paid on-call member in '99, and then getting to come back here. And when I came back, getting the opportunity to work side by side with Tony as a chief officer, he really helped the transition. Getting to see Tony in action, which he's quiet, as we seen, he didn't want to give much of a speech, but it also does not mean that his experiences and knowledge was not there. So he definitely made a difference. He will be missed by myself as a cohort and also from the rest of the team. So I definitely want to thank Tony for your 43 years. And maybe another fun fact is he's one of 4 members. He's tied for 3rd for 43 years of service, with Joe Hovland and Ken Hovland beating him by a year with 44 years of service, if my numbers are right. So a huge thank you to Tony and for the support that he provided.
Thanks, Chief. Thank you, Tony. Thanks to all the firefighters for being here tonight to help us recognize that service from Tony. At this time, we'll open the floor in the open forum. Anyone wishing to address the council on any item that's not on the agenda is welcome to do so at this time. Please step to the lectern, identify yourself. All right. Seeing no one, we will move along to the consent agenda. There are originally 7 items. We're going to remove items 5 through 7, leaving 4 items to be considered this evening. Anyone wishing to address any of those individually, we could do that as well, but seeing none, I'd entertain a resolution approving the first 4 items.
I'll offer that, Your Honor.
Thanks, Jim. Thank you, Brent. Roll call, please.
Joel,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Rachel,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Fish.
Yes.
That resolution is approved. Item number 5 is a resolution certifying delinquent special assessments. And Anthony, did you have a question or comment on that item?
Yeah, I thought as much as anything, it's appropriate that people understand like what these are, and maybe I can call upon Bill to kind of speak to each of them and say what kind of went into this, what type of items are on there, and then equally, I would like a discussion about Westridge Mall specifically on there. But I think if we could just obviously summarize what this actually means for each one of these.
Sounds good. So the first one is special assessments, correct?
Correct.
So you have the list in front of you. These are assessment payments. The city of Fergus Falls, we bill our own annual assessments. We bill them at the end of August. They're due by the end of September. If they're not paid then by the end of September, and if they're not paid through today, we line off some that have been paid, then we go ahead and certify these to go on next year's taxes to Otter Tail County. What that means is we send this list up to the Otter Tail County auditor. He adds them to the tax bill next year to be collected in 2025. So those are assessments. Those are, the annual assessments that are pledged towards bond payments. So that's our collection mechanism on that. And I know some people just choose to just have them go on to their tax bill. We have several in there that are consistent each year. So that's their choice. They do receive a penalty on top of that. We do put a 10% penalty and then send them to Otter Tail County.
I was going to say, if you go, and do they have to clear it the next year?
Well, they do unless they don't pay their taxes, and
Yep.
then it goes through all the process through the county, so, yeah.
So from the people's point of view, even though they didn't pay it, they're going to get a penalty of 10% on whatever the
Correct.
number is. Thank you, Bill.
Correct. And then that goes on to be paid in 2 payments next year
Yep.
through the taxes.
All right, so
With that, I'll make a motion to,
resolution for the
Yep.
first item, the certifying the delinquent special assessments. Thanks, Anthony. Second, Scott. Roll call, please.
Jones.
Yes.
Kwame.
Yes.
Kramer.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Rachel.
Yes.
Hicks.
yes.
Fish.
Yes.
That resolution is approved. All right. Miscellaneous invoices, same question, right?
Correct,
Anthony?
yeah.
Yeah, so what this is, we invoice various things throughout the city for services that are provided by the city. A lot of these services maybe are not requested by the residents, so they would fall under the area of nuisances that we have to deal with, like if people aren't mowing their yards or cleaning up garbage or whatnot, for some examples. And then the city has to go out and do that. Then if they go unpaid, we also, it's in our code, we can, by city code, put that on their taxes under the nuisances section. There's certainly a large one in here you'll see for $14,510. We don't normally see them that large, but that was a court-ordered property abatement that we dealt with. And city attorney was involved with that throughout. And then, same as the special assessments, these get sent up to the county to go on the assessments.
And do the
And-
same penalties?
Yes. Yep, when they are unpaid, yep, they are penalized as well. And that happens after the first 30 days. We send out an invoice to the person on here. If it goes unpaid, then a penalty goes on that. And also within a lot of these have some administration charges for the processing of all that. It's one thing to go out and pay the contractor to go mow the yard, but then, our Public Works Department has to administer that as well. And I know we put a fee on top of that as well. We don't want to be in the business of mowing yards. That's not something we're looking to do. We just have to do it when it's not done, so.
Thank you, Bill. I'll make the resolution to approve the miscellaneous invoices.
Thanks, Anthony. Second, Scott, thank you. Any other questions?
Besides mowing, that would include snow shoveling and ice removal and
Correct,
stuff.
yep.
As we go into winter season, that would be the thing to
Right.
be aware of.
Good point.
Yeah, thanks. Any, roll call, please.
Jones.
Yes.
Kwame.
Yes.
Kramer.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Rachel.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Fish.
Yes.
That resolution is approved. And the final item, number 7, is the approving of delinquent utility accounts. So,
Yep, so this is charges for refuse service, sewer, water, and stormwater charges, so your monthly utility bill that goes out. We're always working with collections throughout the year. That's something that happens on a monthly basis. Again, when these are unpaid, penalties do go on those as well. It's a 10% penalty that goes on for unpaid utility charges. And same thing here, according to city code and state statute, utilities stay with the property and then they get certified to the county. Same with the tax bill. And then anything further on that, you wanted to talk about the mall then, right?
Correct, yeah.
Do you want to ask a question or do you want me to?
Well, I thought that after kind of like the last time, obviously this particular organization are bad actors. We seem to help them tremendously, and then all they do is kick us, they kick sand in our face. So, I mean, personally, I'll go on record to say that I'm not prepared to ever do any splits or anything like that with them all ever again. They just abuse us, and that's not particularly fair. We've been more than accommodating to their wishes over the course of time, but I thought that I thought the people are the other people paying them and them paying us, and are they holding this money back, or are the other, like the Westridge Mall and the owners of kind of the dollar store and Harbor Freight, are they paying us direct? So this is 100% Westridge Mall.
The utilities when it's for Westridge Mall is in the name of Westridge Mall, and that is mainly for the water service coming in. So that is coming through the meter that is the Westridge Mall's water meter. Now, that serves the other areas, so it's the water for the theater, Harbor Freight, the Dollar Tree, as well as the fire suppression system on that. We've been working now over the last number of months trying to rectify this situation where we can start getting those parcels physically broke apart, especially in that fire suppression system. Thus why we couldn't turn the water off and we have to certify it to the taxes. But our building inspector and fire department were out there, and so we've been working with all the individual owners, the theater, Harbor Freight, and the Dollar Tree on that. So making some progress. It'll probably be next spring when those lines actually get cut in, because it's of course too late this year.
Yep.
So it's in process. It is a mess. You are certainly correct on that. But it will go on the taxes. It is between the mall owner and the others to figure out what they should be paying them. They do have a desire to pay the bills, but that, they have to work that out. We can't do that for them. But,
Is there any way that we can just collect that from them direct, as opposed to it going into the black hole that never pays us?
They have a shared agreement, a shared utility agreement amongst all the entities out there. And there's a mechanism in those agreements that allow them to come in and, you know, collect and pay the bill directly if they so choose.
Yeah.
But, you know, we can't bring them a horse to water and force them to do something. So our solution is to try to divide up the utility so that at least they can pay their fair share and separate that out and not always end up with a large bill at the end of the.
I mean, personally, I don't, it's not my problem if the water gets cut off to their fire suppression system. It sucks, but I think that unless there's a hardship, this guy will never pay a bill because he has no hardship. And if the tenants or the people that own the property, you know, if their water gets cut off and the Westridge Mall has to shut down, they will do something with this guy and make him pay the utility bill. And also, I think it's almost bordering on fraud if they're paying him and then he's not paying us.
and they are not.
They're not paying him.
Because we've been working with the other owners as well, so they're
Yeah.
not paying him.
So how do we really resolve it outside of spending money on piping?
Yep, and looking, in addition to piping, the city taking ownership of the water loop that goes around the mall. We're looking into that, because it's all tied in, but it's all on private property.
Right.
So that's part of it. We'd have to,
Yeah.
we're not there yet, but we're in
Right.
the works of it.
Well, I'm glad you're working on it, Bill. I've got faith in you.
Okay, I hope so. We have to get there one way or the other. I
Yep.
mean, this has been a year.
Because it goes every year.
Yep,
But I think as much as anything, the next time he wants a favor, there are no favors.
yep.
And
Yeah, the only time we've received payment is when the parcels are sold, and then it has to get that trued up.
Yep. So if he sells the property and there's delinquent taxes on the assessment, then we can collect our money at that point.
Right.
So, okay, with that.
Just a question.
Yeah.
Bill, what is, this has to do with the property tax on the Westridge Mall. I know it came up some years ago. What is that valued at, that property out there? What are they paying their property tax on? Do you know right now?
I do not know off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I think they were getting a kind of a discount on, I know that there was a back and forth there.
They probably had, I don't know if I can I talk about that publicly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they've filed appeals in the past.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's public record.
Yeah.
So they didn't get a discount. They were contesting their taxes, I believe,
Right.
is what,
And then if I remember correctly, and I forget what year that was, I think, you know, there was some type of an auction to buy that property. Do you remember that? And I think there was an offer made of over 3 million.
I do
on
remember
that.
something about that a number of years ago.
And yet, from what I remember, the property tax valuation is less than that. And he didn't take it, although he was saying it wasn't worth it.
Correct.
So, Anthony, we got to watch this. And I think we need to maybe look into that a little bit too. Thank you.
Thanks.
With that, I'll make the resolution, Your Honor,
Thanks, Anthony.
to approve them. I'll
second it.
collect it one way or the other.
Second, Scott. Yeah, and just the thing that I think I would just add is we need to make sure that the businesses that are operating out there, as we work through this, are able to continue operating,
And that's why the water's still on,
Right. So,
so.
all right, thanks, Anthony. Thanks, Scott. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Joel,
Yes.
Kwame,
Yes.
Freemeyer,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Rachel.
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Fish.
Yes.
The resolution is approved. Under ordinance and resolutions, tonight we have the second reading of 3 franchise agreements. First is a franchise agreement with Otter Tail Power Company. We've had discussion on this at the last meeting. It's been introduced. Roll call, please.
Joel,
Yes.
Kwame,
Yes.
Freemeyer,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Rachel.
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Fish.
Yes.
Ordinance is approved. Second is a similar franchise agreement with Great Plains Natural Gas. Yes, Al?
Just a comment, just want to make sure that, so people do realize, the citizens realize this is the franchise agreement, not the franchise tax. That's why I'm voting yes for this, because it has been in force throughout the years. And it's just getting basically renewed, from what I understand. Thank you.
Thank you, Al. Any other questions before we vote on the Great Plains Natural Gas? Roll call, please.
Joel,
Yes.
Kwame,
Yes.
Freemeyer,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Rachel.
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Fish.
Yes.
That ordinance is approved. And the third and final franchise agreement is with Lake Region Electric Cooperative. Roll call, please.
Joel,
Yes.
Kwame,
Yes.
Freemeyer.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Rachel.
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Fish.
Yes.
That ordinance is approved. Item number 4 is a resolution approving the Community Arena User Agreement, Exhibit A, and we'll call on our Finance Director, Bill Sommer.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, this is just Exhibit A to our user agreements. We have user agreements with the school district, the hockey association, and the skating club. And each year, as we go through the budget process, and then we come up with what will the charges be to those user groups during the winter season. So January, February, March, and then October, November, and December. We did change this a little bit this year. We met with these user groups throughout the summer, had lots of discussions about this, trying to arrive at, rates for this. Long story short, we looked at it from like an hourly rate where we came in. So the school district will pay an hourly rate of $225 an hour for 700 hours of use. The 700 hours is what is included in the user agreement, that we will provide to them 700 hours and they will pay for those 700 hours. That's historically what's been in there. Hockey Association, 1,240 hours in those 6 months for $185 an hour. And then the skating club, 355 hours at $175. And then the overage rate would also be at $175, the same rate as that lowest tier. This comes up to be an annual fee of $157,500 for the school, $229,400 for the Hockey Association, and $62,125 for the skating club. Historically, we just always took the budget and divvied it out over percentages. And of those percentages, the city has always been at 17.5%. And I didn't write it down here, but I think it was the school or the Hockey Association at 33%, Hockey Association at 38%, school at 33%, and then 11.5% for the skating club, and then us at 17.5%. We kept the city at 17.5% for that. Within our fee schedule, we did already approve the summer ice rate or the out of
So does the 24 rate take into account an estimated increase in utility costs?
Yes.
Right.
I've actually increased them quite a bit, so.
Yep.
And the reconciliation clauses still are included in the original agreement, so at the end of the calendar year, through our audit process, I do balance all that out. And if they've overpaid, we give refunds, and we've given refunds every year except last year was our first year. We actually sent a bill to the organizations. Otherwise, typically, I think I'm remembering correctly that, written agreements with those organizations